Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. My name's Matt Johnson and this is The Deep Planet. In this short video, I'll be showing you how to demystify the wiring harness for your Kawasaki EL6F, the EL6N, and the Versys. The 2006 to 2008 model is what I've got here. It'll be pretty similar for some of the later models. You'll get the idea. Most importantly, you're going to want some masking tape and a permanent marker just to label everything up. So each connector, you're going to label up so that when you pull everything apart and put it all back together, you've got some idea of where things go. One suggestion I would highly recommend is that you might label up the one side, but also put a matching label onto that matching connector on your bike. All right, let's get into it. Okay, great. So starting at the front of the bike, that's where your instrument panel connects to. Now this connector may look slightly different. For the EL6N, the EL6F, this is the connector off the Versys. So instrument panel, tagged up, your park light. These are the connectors that will actually connect to your light bulbs. So those are your headlights. Again, depending on whether you've got the Versys, the EL6N, the EL6F, those may look slightly different or be slightly longer. Moving along. So that's the connector for your horn. So there you have power for your fan. Now this one in here is your switch block. Can't really go wrong with that one. There's only one other connector on the bike that looks like that. Moving along to down the left-hand side of the bike near your gear shifter, there's a bunch of wires that connect there. So you'll have this a little bit unusual looking connector. That is your neutral switch. So that's the wire that then sends a signal to your instrument panel that tells you your bike's in neutral. This is your exhaust O2 sensor connector. And these are the connectors that connect to your stator. So you can see these are a little bit blackened, they're a little bit old. So I didn't reuse them, and the previous person actually marked these up using zip ties. So they put two black ones, one yellow one, and one with nothing on it. Just so, and then I would imagine they would have matched that up on the other end, on the other side. Side stand switch, that one's super important. That one stops the bike from starting with the side stand down. And these ones can get a little bit tricky. That's your speedo sensor. All right, so that looks like. So up the other side you have your left-hand side indicator. Again, you want to make note of that when you're disconnecting it. And that's where you have that's your right-hand switch block. That one's for your oil return valve. And that's your ignition switch. So that'll actually connect up to the ignition. So the thing your key goes into, at the back of that is a wire that will connect to that. Now this is where things start to get a little bit critical and can be a little, this is probably the area that most people struggle with around the throttle body. So left hand throttle body under throttle position sensor. That's that one. Then you have your left and right fuel injectors. And the only real way to know which one's which is if you label them. You can also kind of tell when you put the harness into the bike which one's which just by how they land up, but highly recommend labeling those up. If you're going to label one, not label everything else up, you're going to label something up, you're going to label this one up. Throttle position sensor, so that's that one. And we've got one more in that cluster, which is your choke. So this is the section that gathers around your throttle body, and this is the one, when I see on the forums, this is the area that most people have the most trouble with. And then you've got your lean angle sensor connector, your oil pressure crank angle sensor, rear brake switch. So that's the little connector that makes the light turn on and off when you push your foot down on the rear brake. And then you have these, I call them the three bears. That's just a silly thing that I do. but that's the relay box. It's right underneath your seat, towards the front of the seat, right behind the tank, and you can't really mix these up because they are 3 different sizes. You've got Daddy Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. Just when you're putting that back in, just making sure that they're all nicely lined up and they're not twisted. You got your fuse box, you got your diagnostic connector, your regulator rectifier connector. That's one you definitely want to have a look at from time to time. They tend to get a little bit corroded. This one looks okay. So that's the connector that connects to your starter motor. Your fuel pump, and that's for your fuel pump sensor. And this is the actual power supply for your fuel pump. So when you're disconnecting your tank, you make sure you connect those. In the case of the Versys and the EL6N, you just got that one, the EL6F. Right at the back, we've got these orange ones. Those connect into your ECU. Quite different from each other, so very little chance of getting those mixed up. And then around that area, around the ECU, you've got your tail light. You've also got your left and right rear indicators, and the little light that goes above your number plate. That needs to be working too for your bike to pass roadworthy. Okay, it's just something I wanted to show you. This is the connector plug that goes into the instrument panel, and when I replaced this to be able to go from the EL6N wiring harness over to the Versys instrument panel, I had to mark up all of the wires and then note the position of them. So just if you ever do something like this, I've just got this undone because I was working on something and just double checking something, and I've got all of the different wires labeled up, and then I just wrap that all up and cover that with silicone tape, and then if I ever do need to replace this or do other work on it or refer to it, it's all there. This masking tape holds up pretty well, lasts really well, and it's protected by that tape, and then the boot goes over it, and then it goes up into the back of the instrument cluster or the instrument panel. So yeah, I just want to show you that. We've got the headlights working properly now, which is great, and we're good to go. Alright guys, hope you found that video informative. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and if you have any questions, feel free to message me in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!